Hello, this is Megan for BestOfAtlantaConcerts.com here for this edition of Artist Talk with Nick Edelstein, who is currently touring with Connor Christian Southern Gothic. I'm really glad I could catch you between performances. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Good. I know you've been playing music since you were really young, but can you tell me how your love for it has grown and changed?
Yeah, I started when I was 4. My parents and discovered that I was singing all the time and playing like with musical toys, so they got me a piano. And obviously, I don't remember, but my dad says that before the piano movers had left the house, I was already on the piano playing like the Flintstones theme or something, and I've just always loved music. How it's grown, basically, that's sort of hard. That's hard for me to describe because, as long as I can remember, I've always had a song in my head, or been thinking about a melody, or coming up with beats. But it's grown in the sense that right about when I was in 12, 13 years old, when I was in like 8th grade, I just realized that it was such a big passion of mine that it was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, which was an interesting moment because obviously I'm interested in other things, but it was just sort of was consuming me to the point where it was really clear. I don't know if it was like a calling or not, but I just remember waking up one day and just realizing, you know what, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And now it's my career, so I'm pretty cool, pretty excited about that. Yeah.
Great. I read that you've played everything, but you always come back to the blues. So why is that?
Well, I like to improvise. I like the freedom that the blues has. A lot of people that critique blues music have said to me, well, every song sounds the same, and there's the old joke, there's only 3 different blues beats, slow, fast, and shuffle. But I think that it's actually challenging because I like trying to make each song unique. I like the call and response that you get. I like the storytelling with the audience, where I feel like when I do a blues concert, I'm sort of teaching the crowd, teaching the audience about not necessarily talking down to them, but just sharing stories with them and letting them know who I am as a person. I feel like I can express myself best when I'm playing that sort of music than really anything else. I love classical music. I grew up on that. I love oldies. I love classic rock, and I've been in a lot of different bands. But I find that when I am playing with a blues group in that setting, I feel like my truest sense of myself comes out. So.
That's great. Can you tell me how your religion has influenced your music?
Well, I started singing about 5 years ago, and started writing songs about 8 years ago. And somewhere about 4 or 5 years ago, I noticed that the songs that I was writing, the melodies I was writing, were the vocal melodies anyway, were very sort of harmonic minor scale and Phrygian scale, and to some extent that is similar to the Dorian, which is the blues scale. But there's certain elements about my vocal melodies that I tend to come up with that I found sort of originated from when I was a kid, when I would be in synagogue and praying, and I would be learning prayers and singing the prayers, and the melodies are very similar. And I really think that's true, that in that sense it's influenced my songwriting. But from a theological standpoint, I think Judaism is about a way of life, and it's about being just a good person in general, trying to be a righteous person, and not necessarily evangelizing others, but just not being afraid to be who you are. And I really think about that with my music career, that there's a lot of different things I could play or sing. If I wanted to be a pop star, I could write a pop song. But it's more important to be true to myself and become who I am inside and be myself, and let people see that It's really about honesty, being honest with the audience. I think that people can really tell when someone's on stage and they're not being themselves. And I sort of take that to heart and try to be true.
Oh, that was a really good answer. Thank you. I know you have your own band, so how is it that you got involved with Connor Christian or other bands you said you played with?
Well, I started my group really as just because I wanted to record an album of the songs that I'd been writing. And so that was about 2004, late 2004. And over the years it developed and sort of took different forms. I like playing with different people. So every 8 to 10 months I would rotate the lineup, start playing with different musicians. The guys that are on my first album are totally different than the guys on my second album. And of that group, I only play with one of them. So this right now, I've got a different lineup. So I like switching it up a little bit. About mid-2008, I sort of, we were doing a lot of great shows, great college gigs and radio gigs and all kinds of fun stuff. And I sort of just said, you know what, I'm tired of booking myself. I've been booking myself for a long time. I got a booking agent, and I said, okay, I'm just going to take a break from booking shows and just let my agent handle it from now on. And to her credit, I think she's a good agent. She just maybe wasn't necessarily familiar with the kind of venues that I like to play at. So next thing I know, I'm looking at my calendar, and there's like not much on it. And then, sort of like as fate would have it, I got an email from Connor, I think I want to say in September, August or September, saying, hey, we're looking for someone to play keys and organ. Would you be interested? And I was really intrigued by that because it had been a long time, and I mean at least 8 years since I played keyboard or organ in someone else's band. I've done a few gigs with my group where I might bring the organ or for something, but generally most of my work is like 90% of my work is on guitar. And the piano gigs that I've done have been like solo jazz gigs or weddings or Christmas Eve parties. I don't really do that many of those, but that's what they've been, the piano gigs. So I was like, hey, this might be something really fun to do. Give me a chance to take the organ out. And, at that time it was sort of a la carte here and there. By December of last year, it was clear that, I really liked the songs and I was getting along with the bandmates. And Connor approached me and basically said, would you want to join up with us as a full-time member? And I really didn't even have to think about it. It was sort of an obvious choice. Yes, I still have goals for my group. I have a third album that I've been working on for about 2 years that I think I'm ready to head into the studio. And, my bandmates, we still have some dates on the calendar, but I am really happy to say that I've been playing with Connor full-time since January. And, I'm looking forward to, the last couple months have been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to the future.